this is your review for your midterm. This is part 1. So the very first question asks, which set of ordered pairs represents y as a function of x? Okay, so what I need you to know is when you see this phrase, y as a function of x, it's just asking you which one's a function. And in order for it to be a function, remember x cannot repeat. So we're looking for where x does not repeat. So if you look, we're looking at all the x's here. None of those repeat, so there's your answer. Now I'm going to show you on the others that you have x's where they repeat. So here, this is not a function. Here, 3 and 3 repeat, and so do -4 and -4 repeat. So 3 and -4, as soon as x doesn't repeat, as soon as x repeats, it's no longer a function. Okay, and then on the last one, the 2's repeat, so it's not a function. So remember, x cannot repeat in order for it to be a function. And another one that you could see is vertical line test, where it gives you a graph, and you have to test whether it's a function or not. So let's say you're given a circle. So if you draw a vertical line here and here, that doesn't pass the vertical line test because it touches twice. So that's a little bit more than this question's asking, but I'm just giving you a refresher about how you can test it when you're given a graph. Okay, number 2. So the first 6 numbers in a pattern are shown below. So this is your first term, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth term. So it says if the pattern continues, which expression can be used to find the nth term in this pattern? Okay, so this is basically what I need you to know. I need you to know when you have a question like this, you can put these in y equals. So what you're going to do is you're going to plug this into y equals, but instead of using the letter n, you're going to use the letter x. So all these will say x instead of n. So I'm going to go to y equals on my calculator, and I'm going to type in y equals, I'm going to type 2x over 3. So I want 1 to be 1/3. Well, this is 2/3, so that's already wrong. So this is not your answer. Okay, so I would go back to y equals, and now I would type in the next equation, which is x squared divided by x, or over 6. So x squared, 6. Again, the first term should say 1/3. This one says 1/6, so I can stop there. So I'd go back, type in the next answer choice, which is x squared divided by 3. So x squared, and this should be a 3. Go to second graph. Okay, so I need the first term to be 1/3. That checks. I need the second term to be 4/3. Checks. And if you continue, it checks all the way through, where the sixth term is 12. So this is your correct answer. So remember, this is a y equals problem. Number 3. So you have 2 functions are given below. F of x equals 1/4 x plus 1, and g of x equals -4 x plus 1/2. Okay, so what we're doing on this is we're comparing the 2 graphs. So we're just going to put this in the calculator, but there's some things that you should notice about this graph. You should notice that they both start with a -4x, and the only thing that changes is the y-intercept. So the y-intercept on f of x is 1, and then on g of x, it's 1/2. So let's take a look what happens to these graphs. So there's our original, and there's our next one. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see. So zoom 2. I think you'll be able to see this a little bit better. Okay, as you can see, the blue is our original, so it shifted down. The steepness didn't change at all. So let's see if we can see if anything happens here. So this says that f of x is less steep. Well, the steepness didn't change. The they have the same y-intercepts. Well, the y-intercepts are those, not the same. C says they're parallel. Would you call those parallel lines? Railroad tracks. That's what you guys most often compare it to. And then we've already discovered that it doesn't change the steepness. So you would say that it's parallel. So that's the best answer for that problem. Okay, so number 4. These are your give me questions. So remember, f of x just means y equals. So given f of x, or y equals negative 8/3 x squared minus 16, what is the value of f of negative 3? So what I need you to know is that this is saying f of x. So this is giving you x. They're saying if x is negative 3, what's y? So we're going to go to y equals, and we're going to type in this equation right here. We're going to type in this part. So I'm going to type in negative, let me put this to where you can see it. Okay, so I'm going to go to second graph. I'm going to go to negative 3. So across from negative 3 is 40. So there's our answer. Our answer is negative 40. So again, you would you would write the negative 40, and then you'd bubble in. Okay, so that's it on that one. Alright, number 5, you may not necessarily see like this on the test, but it's still going to be the same concept. I believe on the test it's solve for y, move the x, change the sign, divide by the number in front of the y, don't forget to simplify. Well, here it's asking you to solve for w. So in order to do that, I have to move the 2L, and then it changes its sign. So I have negative 2L plus P is equal to 2W. So I still don't have W by itself. So I would divide everything by 2. So what you need to do from here is you need to simplify a step further. So negative 2 divided by 1. Negative 2 divided by 2 is just negative 1, or negative L. I'm going to leave this as a decimal. So I have a 1 here. So 1 divided by 2 is positive 0.5. Then I'm going to put the P equals W. So there's your answer. It's a little different because we're used to solving and having a number for it. But here we're solving, and this is what you call literal equations. Alright, so number 6. Here, which equation shows the same rate of change? So we want the same rate of change. And remember, rate of change just means slope of y with respect to x. So all we're looking for is the slope. So there's a couple things that we can do here. I think stat is probably the easiest. Or you could use the slope formula, either one, so that you can figure out what the slope is. Alright, so I'm going to do stat over 4. And remember, all I want is the slope. So in this case, my slope or my A is 2. So which one has the same slope? Well, this has the imaginary one. This is -2, 2, and 3. So our answer is B. All right, number 7. This is one that y'all saw on, I believe, the Unit 5 test, and some of y'all did not do so well on it. Okay, so Samuel runs around a 400-meter track. He uses the linear equation y equals 200